All right, here we are. We just finished our road trip. We're getting on the thruway, heading back. And so, I don't know if you remember this, Justin. Was
What's
it
that?
3 weeks ago?
3 weeks ago?
We met at the natural food store. And I was
That's
like,
true.
hey, I want to do a little YouTube video with you. Right?
Yeah.
You remember that?
Yep.
And I was like, you have a really cool job, you get to travel around the world, and I wanted to kind of show people a little bit about what it was like to travel and some of the options that they can have for their lifestyle, right? That was kind of like a part of it. And you were like, sure, that'd be cool. And then you're like, wait a minute, I'm going hiking and camping in a couple weeks. Do you want to come? And I was like, what? Yeah.
I do remember.
So I feel like you really just kind of showed me like a little window into your life.
Yeah, you gotta experience all the fun stuff.
Yeah. And that was kind of like, that was like really the meat and potatoes, I feel like, of like you're sharing me with like the YouTube interview, instead of being like, hey, let's shoot this stupid little clip, let's go on a fucking adventure and let's do something.
Yeah, I prefer
Right?
that. That's much more fun than talking.
That's what I gathered. So I wanted to thank you for that. And
Yeah.
and I'm gonna share some of the clips of the trip, and you're gonna get to see some of the stuff of what we did and some of the fun we got into, and just wanted to thank you again from the bottom of my
thanks.
heart. I'm going to remember this trip for the rest of my life. Absolutely.
Yeah.
And we'll put your link to should we put your link to your
Sure,
website
of course.
on there and everything like that?
Welcome to.
Cool.
Yeah,
Well,
we got to run around in the wilderness and climb rocks and soak in hot springs and slide down snow.
yeah.
It's pretty cool. I think it's interesting, like, two of my favorite things involve water, and one of them's frozen and the other one's moving,
Okay.
which is kind of cool, right? Like,
Yeah.
when you're surfing, the water's moving,
Yeah.
and when you're skiing and snowboarding, it's frozen, and you're
Yeah.
sliding through all the water. It's pretty neat.
Yeah.
And then there's rock climbing, which is more solid.
Yeah. So, do you have any kind of like advice or thoughts or things you want to share with people about, living, being happy in life, or?
I mean, I would say it's to follow your heart and your passion and do what really makes you happy, in a non-harmful, way, right?
Yeah.
To where you're respectful of the earth and people and
Sure.
everybody along that journey. But yeah, I feel like one of the ways people really get lost is by not following what they really care about, or not doing what they really want to be doing.
Yeah.
Yeah, and in the end, you might not have the biggest house and the most fanciest car, but you'll probably have the best stories and the most fun.
We have a pretty cool car. This car drives on the opposite, like it drives on the right. How do I say it?
It drives on the right side.
It drives on the right side, like all our cars, but the steering wheel is also on the right side.
Yeah, you don't want to drive on the wrong side of the
No,
road.
no, that's not cool. That is a whole nother kind of an adventure.
Yeah.
How about you have a really cool project that I don't know if you want to share a little bit about the one you're going to go shoot some footage for that's coming up. You're telling me about the one where it's for the healthy, the indigenous kind of land rights thing that you were telling me about.
Oh.
Do you want to say a little bit about that? Capture a little interest on that?
Well, it's just starting, but it has to do with Barriers National Monument.
Okay.
And also some legislation that they're trying to pass to.
Do you want to just give a little synopsis for people so they can be aware of it?
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
I mean, right now they're, the government, the Congress, the Republican Congress is trying to pass a law to give back federal lands to the states, which would include the Bureau of Land Management lands, the National Forest Service, a bunch of different, basically all the public lands that we have rights to as U.S. citizens. To give it back to the states. It's a really big deal. And one of them, they're trying to reverse the designation of the Barriers National Monument, which is a huge national monument that has native lands on it and recreational uses such as like climbing and hiking and pristine wilderness. And they're trying to reverse the legislation to make it a national monument. So, but that goes along with some legislature to trip, like the trip we just went on to Joshua Tree,
Yeah.
that initially was a national monument,
Okay.
and then it eventually became a national park.
Okay.
So essentially, without those designations, that area would have been sold to the highest bidder. You know, and what happens is, and where we went to the hot springs, that's Bureau of Land Management. Where we went skiing was the Forest Service land.
Okay.
So all these areas that
All
we
our
enjoy,
natural treasures.
yeah, they're talking about giving those back to the states. And then what the state does is when the state is in financial crisis from not managing itself well,
Yeah.
it doesn't raise taxes. The first thing it does is it sells off public assets.
Sell stuff.
Yeah. So
That's easy.
it sells these lands, and those lands can be sold for, you know, private use for mineral extraction or whatever. And so it's an important thing for us to be aware of and
Okay.
be conscious of and fight for it.
And is there anything that, you know, you're gonna do a little video and help raise some awareness around that? Is that, I mean, I guess I could put the link to that video when it comes up, but
Yeah.
is there something that people should be kind of being aware of right now that they could do, or?
Yeah, it would be to get politically involved and to, you know, learn about the subjects and find out who you should write. Like I think right now there's a big campaign where people are flooding the office of the governor of Utah, because
Okay.
he's the one that basically wants to, you know, disable the designation of bears as a national monument. And you know, there's always this battle between state rights and federal rights, but you know, the federal lands are federal lands because they're for all the citizens, not just the people in the states, right? And so I know Patagonia is doing a big campaign to write letters and get everyone aware about the subject. I mean, Patagonia was probably the best place to check it out. But
Okay.
you could just do a search for Bears National Monument.
Barriers?
Bear ears, yeah.
Barriers, National Monument. Okay.
Yeah. So yeah, that's kind of a long explanation.
Okay, well, thank you for that. I
Yeah,
appreciate
yeah.
that. And so we're gonna put some links in here, and I'll try to update it if we get any new info on that. And other than that, anything else you want to say?
No, have fun.
Have fun. That's what I'm learning, and I'm so grateful again for you sharing how you get to experience fun, because it's been really like I had so many like interesting novel insights that I'm still processing, but also I'm gonna try to share with people in my own unique ways.
Yeah, you haven't had useless fun for a while. You said.
That's what it. We're sitting at the top of this rock climbing like hill mountain thingy.
Yeah.
Pile of rocks it's pretty high up, right? And I'm looking around like, Justin, I haven't like sat around and just hung out with the guys and just like done something that's like not like specifically productive. Like I don't even know one. I always feel like I should be doing something.
There's a term for that. They call it conquerors of the useless.
I think that we're conquerors of the moment.
Totally.
And I think that's where all the spiritual teachings are pointing to right now, you know?
Exactly.
Being present.
Exactly.
And that's a practice.
And you can even do that without paying people money or without taking workshops, and you can just go outside and play and have fun and be in the moment. It's pretty simple.
So I'm gonna put up some clips from our trip, and you're gonna see, and hopefully we're gonna inspire you to get your ass out there and have some fun, connect with nature, and just like really, if you ever get in a dark place or anything like that, get outside, get into nature, make a little change, and just like try something new. Take care, guys. Thanks for joining us. See you soon. Bye.